Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to do a quick rules overview of the Dragon Prince Battlecharged, published by Brotherwise Games. We're going to take a look at this 2 to 6 player game that takes about 30 to 45 minutes to play. The idea of this is just to give you a quick starter on just being able to jump into the game. And there's an index in the back of the rule book here that you can use to look up some of the effects that can happen in the game, but this should give you a general overview of how to play the game, and you should be able to get started. So let's go head down to the table here and let's go over some of these rules. Alright, so this is going to be the components that come with the Dragon Prince Battlecharged. In the game, you're going to get 8 different characters that you can pick from, and each of the characters is going to have a deck of 16 cards that are unique to that character and have unique abilities and just their own asymmetric play style. You'll also get a character card for each of the 8 characters, and you'll get a really nice miniature for each of the characters. You will also get 3 of these tiles, which are going to be your battle mats, and they are double-sided. So you have 6 different basically arenas that you can fight in that come with the game. You have 2 teams in the game, and the game comes with 3 bases for each of the teams. So you'll have 6 bases total, so purple and red. And you'll put these bases on these character minis, so you know which team is on which. It also comes with, I believe, 7 of these tokens here. These tokens are what you win during the game, and once you win so many, depending on the player count, you'll win the game. It'll come with these 6 dice, and these dice here are used to track how much charge a character has on their character card. So there's 6 of them because you can play up to 6 players in this game with the variant. And you also have a bunch of heart counters that are used to track health of each of these characters throughout the game. So this is the components that come with the Dragon Prince Battlecharged. Alright, so the Dragon Prince Battlecharged is a game where you control the heroes of Xadia in a fast-paced magical combat game. In this game, your goal is to deal damage to knock out your foes. If your team achieves 3 knockouts, you win. Now, the 3 knockouts will apply to the normal 2 to 4 player game. So, to start the game, each player is going to pick their characters and put the base on there for their team. If you're going to do a 2-player game, each player will control 2 characters. If you're going to do a 3-player game, 1 player will control 2 characters, and the other 2 players will control 1 character. If you do a 4-player game, everybody controls their own characters. When a player picks a character, they'll take the character's miniature, they'll take the 16-card deck, and they'll take the character's player card. Now, if you're playing 2 characters, you'll actually shuffle these decks together. If you're playing individual characters, you won't. You'll have your own little deck. So if I pick these 2 characters here, I would shuffle these 2 decks together and take all the miniatures and stuff for it. You will also get your energy die here, or your charge die, sorry, and you'll place that on here with the number shown below it. So 4, so I place 4. You will also place the number of hearts that are on your character die on this. So in this case, I would be placing 6 hearts. Now for the example of this game, we're going to play a 4-player game. So I'm going to set this up here where we're going to select a battle location and set up all the characters. Now you're only going to put out, for a 2 to 4-player game, you're only going to put out 5 of these tokens. So I'll put out 5 of these tokens too. So I'll go ahead and set that up. Okay, so this is the 4-player setup. Now, if we were going to do 2 players, this or any of those combination where someone plays two players, they would shuffle these decks together. And in a 2-player, when a player is playing 2 characters, they would draw 7 cards. If a player is playing an individual character, they're going to draw 5 cards. Now, when a person's controlling both, when it's their turn to go, they would actually move. They would do the actions for each of the characters before the end of their turn. When you control a single character, obviously you're just going to do the actions for yours. So we're just going to show this is a 4-player game. So you would draw 5 cards. And right now we're going to do Raylan and Callum versus Soren and Claudia. Now you'll notice that they are on their sides of boards, and they have this little star on here, and that's going to indicate where you have to start at. Now, a couple other things with the boards is you'll notice that they have these red bars around here. These ones are, you can't get past them, but if you leap or jump, you can jump over these if they have the red lines on them. If they have the white lines, you just can't pass through them. And these ones indicate stairs and stuff. And then you also put out these little coins here. And for a 2 to 4 player game, there's going to be 5. First person to 3 wins. If you're playing with 5 or 6 with that variant, you'd have 7 out. And the person would have to win 4 of those instead of just 3, one of the teams. Now, a couple things that I didn't explain with the character cards, and especially if you shuffle these decks together. So, with, let's say, Claudia right here, these are the base stats on it. So when you take your actions, if you take any one of these, you don't actually have to play cards. You could just use their base abilities. Like this, Claudia has a base movement of 3, a base range of 3, and a base attack power of 1. Her health is 5, and she has a charge of 2. Each character has a unique way of regaining their charge to help power different cards. And this one is once per turn. On your turn, you may discard 1 card to charge 1. So you can charge her up that way by discarding cards, which is sort of fitting since they use sort of like an anti-life magic sort of thing going. The other thing that's important on these is you'll notice the symbol up here. If you shuffle these decks together, because you're playing 2 characters, you can't, and the card that is in your hand has this symbol here. It can only be played by a character that has that symbol on their player card. So if I was playing both Soren and Claudia, I couldn't play this card for Soren. And there's a couple different cards in this game. Basically, you're going to have your movement cards, which are right here. You're going to have your attack cards, which you could move and attack on your turn, so you can use these. But then you also have going to have your technique cards, which are going to, and your react cards in the game. And the technique cards and react cards, there's not really a limit to them for what you're playing. Some of them actually have, like your react cards can even be played on opponents' turns, and some of them have requirements or whatnot. But you'll notice up here in the upper left-hand corner, some of them also have, you have to spend a charge amount to actually play them. So you'll have to keep that in mind. Now, like I said before, each player has a unique deck that is based for their asymmetric play style. So each person's going to have different varying numbers of these. Alright, to start out the game, everyone's going to draw 7 cards. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take Ryla and Callum's turn. They're going to go first. So we'll shuffle up these cards and then we will draw 7. So, okay. So this would be, oops, let's put this right direction. This would be my hand of cards. Now Ryla starts with 3 charge, and she has some pretty big like acrobatic movements. Now, one thing I wanted to point out is if you see this symbol right here, this is going to be like your jump symbol or fly or whatever. That'll let you go over these areas with a red border, but you can't stay on it. So you have to land or on a space that isn't in this red border area. So I would jump over the balcony or whatnot for that. And you could do 3 actions on your turn, and you could do them in any order. You can move, you can attack, or you can play any number of the technique, react, or ongoing cards. Now, we'll go over those in a second, but so if I move, I can either use her base ability of 3 to move on the board, or I can play this card to not only move, some of them do just move a whole bunch, but some of them also have abilities like this. Hero's next attack this turn has +1 and shield break. Now, the shield breaks are important because there's 2 different symbols. There's the shield break and the shield. When you are able to land an attack, you're simply going to do either the amount of damage on your base ability, or if you played an attack card, those are all moves, an attack card, you get to have this one here if sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's the same. And if nothing else happens, you'll do that amount of damage to another character. Now, they can play cards that have this symbol on them, and if they have this symbol on here, they're going to block the attack. However, you can play the shield breaker here to counteract that. And whoever, at the end, if the opponent can't have enough shields to block the attack, they'll just take the full damage. And that's how that works. Now, there's a couple different types of cards. So your react cards are pretty simple. You're going to play them to react to something. And technique cards, some of them say like the next turn or whatever. If you play a technique card, you can place them on the board here or by your character until they're resolved, and they go in your discard pile. Now, this is going to be like most other combat games or card games. If your draw pile runs out, you'll actually shuffle your discard pile into your draw pile and draw those up. When you knock out a character, so you remove all their health, you're going to set the character down. You will gain a token, and place it on your team's side. Now, this player can't be attacked, can't be moved, can't be hurt at all. On their turn, they're going to stand up and they're going to go back to full health and full charge, and they can go nuts. So you want to keep that in mind when you knock out a character. You may want to do your attack and then run away a little bit, or defend yourself in some way, because they're going to be completely full health and go straight at you. Oh, one more thing I wanted to mention that I sort of glossed over is range, which is also a very important tactical consideration. So I can use range where 1, 2, 3, I can hit an opponent from a range with my attack, which is really cool if you're going to be facing like someone that has a lot of melee attacks that has to be up close, which has a very low range, like Soren, to try to sort of like hit them, run away sort of thing. So your opponents have to be aware of that. And that's basically all there is. You can't go past your starting health in this game. And when you spend charge, you're going to just reduce the die down to that, or even all of it if you use it all up. And again, you can increase your charge back up by your player's special asymmetric ability to increase your charge. Charge is very important in this game. You can land some pretty big hits or do some really cool things with it. So you always want to keep that as a resource. Positioning yourself on the battlefield is also very important. And working together with your opponent or working together with both your characters is super important. Because like I said, this is a race game and a combat game. The first team to 3 tokens wins the game, and that's it. So let's go ahead back up to the table here. Okay, so that was a quick rules guide for the Dragon Prince Battlecharged. I hope that you enjoy this game as much as I do, and I hope this was a good enough video for you just to be able to jump in and play at a game night and have a lot of fun. If I messed up anything with the rules, I'll put them down below. And if you notice that I messed anything up, please let me know. But in the meantime, thank you for watching.